What is up, everybody? We are back with our Dynasty Startup Draft. Looking at rounds 4, 5, and 6. I'll show you our screen here soon. We already did the first three rounds. We'll kind of quickly recap those. I'm joined by Jeff. Brian, how's it going?
How you guys doing?
Ahoy, hoy.
I was thinking for a second earlier, Dad, kind of just random, but because you didn't go to a football game last year, right?
No, I didn't.
Like an NFL game. And then I thought, is that the first time you missed one since like 2008? But then I remembered you probably didn't go in like 17, 18, 19, right? When the Chargers were
No, I
playing.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't go when they played on the soccer field. So
Yeah.
this might be the first year in ungodly amount of years I might not go to a baseball game.
Yeah, we'll figure one out. We'll go to one.
Yeah,
but-
I haven't. Well, yeah, I haven't got anything planned so far, and which should be
Yeah,
unusual.
I'm sure we'll be going to a Dodger game at some point. Lucy actually showed quite a bit of interest
Dodger Stadium sucks, though.
when we went. What's that?
Yeah, I'm
Dodger
not.
Stadium sucks.
I'm not going to Dodger Stadium.
Go see
What if
the
they play the
greatest.
Tigers?
Go see the greatest player of our generation, two of our greatest players in our generation in Anaheim, and watch Shohei Ohtani, aka the Asian Babe Ruth, and Mike Trout. Much more exciting. Although their stadium food sucks too. I remember that. Didn't we go to a game recently, Dad? It was like, man, what is this?
Anaheim?
Yeah, we went to, I think, a Dodger or a Tigers Angels game a couple years back.
Yeah, was it after COVID? It seems like all the ballpark food after COVID sucks.
Not in San Diego.
Well, remember we went to Arizona, Diamondbacks and Padres?
Yeah. You could
Man,
hear
that-
people talking from
Yeah, we
across
heard-
the stadium.
We were sitting in the upper deck and we hear people talking on the field. That's how many people were there.
Well, it's because it was limited capacity. It was right after. It was like
Yeah.
right after COVID.
Okay.
Plus, Arizona doesn't attract a lot unless the team's.
Yeah, there was a lot of Padre fans.
Yes. But anyways, we'll make sure we get to it. That would be your first year without a baseball game since I guess COVID year, right? But
Yeah, I don't count that. So
yeah,
Asterisk.
that's what the Dodgers are in the World Series in 2020. Asterisk.
big old asterisk, and the Buccaneers for the Super Bowl. They had no fans in the stadium, so
Nah, I think that was a little more legit.
Hey,
No,
they,
no.
that was balanced off though that they weren't allowed to shoot the cannons, So
there was
Yeah, but
no
they-
fans in the
They
stadium.
played a full season. They played a full
wait,
season.
there were fans there.
Not for most of the season.
Oh yeah, no, it's Florida. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl there was, but I'm saying like you went to Green Bay and you're playing in front of half the battle of playing a road game is just battling the fans, like in the crowd noise, and it's just all perfect for Tom Brady like always throughout his career. Everything.
Wait,
just
no,
works.
so you're saying so take out the fan noise. So the players actually have to play to the best of their ability, no distractions. And who won?
and all the rules they benefited someone like Brady, so everything just worked out. Anyways, we're showing you our Dynasty Startup 12-team Superflex mock draft. We've gone through the first three rounds. A little interesting, I'd say. Some highlights. We didn't really even talk about this one. Anthony Richardson being taken. I took him as my QB2 at the 201. What did you guys think about that? Did we mention that in the last video? We kind of glossed over it, I think.
Yeah, I think if he plays and starts, that's going to be a steal.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken Dak over him.
Really? You love Dak.
What's that?
I'd say you do love Dak.
I do. Honestly, I would have taken Dak over Watson and then maybe felt better about Richardson. So I don't know.
Dak's
I don't
a
mind it, honestly. Like, I mean, it's basically rookie pick 102. It's just kind of crazy to think about that, though. Like, rookie pick 102 in Dynasty Superflex drafts right now is basically, we're saying, is the 13th best player in the entire league. with the premium, obviously, on quarterback, like that's kind of it's a hard pill to swallow. Like,
He could be
kind of hard to
QB1.
talk shit about it, about the upside and everything, but it's kind of like,
It's all about points.
yeah, I guess we'll see how many he gets.
I don't know. Going back to Dak, like I just don't see much potential for him. So his best year was in 2021, which was a good year. He finished
Contract year.
QB7 in points, maybe like QB9 or 10 average. And that's, that was his best year, 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns. He's not going to run. I think he's kind of proven that his last 3 years. He hasn't run for more than 180 yards his last 3 years. I know 2020 he was hurt, but even, he had 100 yards in 93 yards in 5 games. So he wasn't even really running too much that year. So I don't know. I go for potential. AR-15 could be QB1 in my opinion. So I think that's his potential. I think Dak's cap is like QB7 and kind of a because he plays 17 games, not necessarily because he's averaging that.
Maybe. But I mean, you've kind of famously said that Bryce Young is still your quarterback one. So
yeah,
I mean, we see like the round disparity there. Like, would you take Bryce Young over Dak also?
Probably. I probably would. Just again, there's less potential there, but I don't know. I'm not too high on Dak. Like, again, he had one good year and then a bunch of years. That's basically what he's been. Like one really good year and a bunch of even last year. Like I know he missed 5 games, but he had 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, like 2,800 yards.
It's kind of like, well,
doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I think it's like you got to add 30% to those numbers, I guess. Kind of, and see where he is there if you believe it. That, of course,
You mean if he played a full season?
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like if you played 4 more games, that's a third more.
4,000 yards. He would have had 4,050 and 32 touchdowns, and that's just not doing it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it does it for me. 4,000 and over 30.
I mean, comparing it to Richardson, of course. Like, I'm not saying Dak sucks or he shouldn't be drafted. I'm just saying when comparing him to a Kyler or a Richardson, I just think there's so much more potential there. And then Bryce Young is more about the age / potential, like a combination of both.
Definitely more potential, but I do kind of think in Dynasty, if you kind of, we know what Richardson's floor is possibly, which is almost nothing, or I guess that's kind of,
it's kind of everyone's floor. I feel like.
Well, yeah, kind of, but I guess what I'm saying is I just think that if you whiff on one of your first 2 or 3 picks really badly in a Dynasty startup, that could really set you back at least a season if you're lucky, more likely a couple of seasons. So
are you taking Dak over Justin Fields then? Because I feel like you can kind of use the same logic. We've seen Fields, but we haven't seen him as a passer. I think we can kind of assume Richardson's going to run for 700-800 yards at least. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of put him in that same category. I would have taken Lamar or Watt or Dak over. Sorry.
No, you're right.
My stuff again.
I kind of started it without notice, but
it's all right. Yeah, I think honestly, I don't have a problem with Dak as kind of that QB 9-ish, 10-ish in a super flex startup, but I think 10 through probably 16 or something is pretty it's negotiable for sure. I definitely think he's after Herbert But yeah, it just kind of goes into like a different category from there, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you've been pretty high on Dak for a while. Team 11 still not drafting a quarterback is probably would never happen in a super flex, I would say.
Yeah, I know. And going off of what I said in the last video, it's like, oh, Daniel Jones did actually get back to me in the 4th round. So I definitely would have played that a little bit differently had I actually had confidence that was going to happen. But I kind of feel like he would have gone in this round. I'm surprised only Tua went in this round, actually, as far as quarterbacks go. But I like. What's that?
Who do you like?
I was just gonna say I like this combo of just to kind of get my running back room going. Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna just pause it there.
Yeah, that's all right. The next 2 guys I was gonna basically draft back to back, like no necessarily like real order.
Yeah, I think we're overrating Daniel Jones a little bit. Like I think end of 4th, beginning of 5th is okay for him, but it's like, all right, he's had one good year out of 5, right? Like, let's slow down a little bit, or I guess 4 years. I don't know. It's like we'll see. I want to see him do it again, right? And he only threw 15 touchdowns last year. Like, it worries me a tad bit of just like how good of a passer is he really? Like we talk about it with Justin Fields, people are worried about it and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well, like Daniel Jones has never thrown more than 3,200 yards, and he had
700 yards rushing. That more than makes up 7 touchdowns. So,
but that was double of basically what he's ever done in another season. So it's like,
well, he was.
All right, I want to see it
finally
again.
Got a real coach, and
I don't.
I'm not taking
really,
him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really see how you can. Like, true, he's only done it 1 year, right?
Yeah.
But so is Tua.
Yeah, and
the way I feel about it, anyways, and to a lesser extent, and then there's 3 guys that went in front of him with Stroud, Young, and Richardson.
That's different.
It's different in what, because of the age or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, they haven't done it yet, So
yeah, but
I think getting Richardson.
We've seen 4 years. My point is, we've seen 4 years of Daniel Jones. Like. You can't say, oh no, like the rookies haven't done it. Yeah, obviously the rookies haven't done it, but we've also seen 4 years of just like as a passer, as Daniel Jones. Like we know what we're gonna get out of Daniel Jones as a passer. He needs to run for 700
I don't think that's
yards.
what we're looking at necessarily, because I think we always kind of like thought like, all right, like where's the rushing really gonna kick in? I mean, he plays like 3/4 of a season, his first 3. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Like, I mean, we've seen the guy run fast as hell and then trip on nothing before he gets a touchdown. So,
but he's one of those, like, same with like Fields, but I think Fields, there's still hope of like he can develop as a passer. I think we know what we got out of Daniel Jones as a passer. He needs to run for 700 yards and 8 touchdowns to be a top 10 quarterback. That just worries me a little bit. Like, do I think he can? Yeah. But I'm just like...
I mean, he just got paid.
Yeah.
So...
kind of because they had to, though, more than anything. Like, what were you going to do if you were the Giants? Like, you weren't going to get one in the draft.
So would you rather have Tua over him?
Tua over Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, I think it's pretty close, but... And then, I mean, we are in super flex, right? And like you said, there is a team who hasn't even drafted a quarterback yet. So it's kind of like...
I'm saying this is where he belongs, is like right around here. I think we were talking about him maybe going in the 3rd round, and it's just like, I don't know about that.
We're spending too much time on Daniel Jones.
Well, we're just talking about the whole round in general.
We'll go through the round. I started out with Devontae Adams, 401, T. Higgins, the 4-2, ETN, Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Smith, and then Tua went to the 407. Mark Andrews is the 3rd tight end, which I think is really good value for Mark Andrews at 408. Drake London, Josh Jacobs, TJ Hawkinson, and then finish it off with Ramondre Stevenson. So, Dad, you like that value of Mark Andrews at the 408?
Yeah, I do, and I like it better. Lamar's back there. Hopefully, him and Lamar seem to have a connection. Let's hope it continues on.
Ryan, if you could have known, I know you like the Mahomes Kelsey stack, but like basically a round and a half later, you could get Mark Andrews. Would you generally take that over? Maybe not. Let's say you don't have Mahomes or something. Just in general, like in a vacuum, if you could get Mark Andrews a round and a half later over Kelsey, would you do that in Dynasty?
I would. I like Dad's. I like Tyreek Hill and Mark Andrews over Kelsey and Ramondre. I think they're definitely close.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would take Dad's picks though, but I think it just kind of depends a little bit. I like the team Dad's building, but I'm still gonna beat him.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue Andrews is the tight end 1 in Dynasty, right? So you're getting him in mid to late round 4 as the tight end 3. I think it's really good. Anything else here in this? I mean, I've expressed my concerns about ETN, but I still don't think he should fall much further than early round 4. Cooper Kupp, we'll see. He's on the older side. Anything else we want to say? I mean, Ramondre, we like.
I would have taken Josh Jacobs over ETN, honestly. Not where he's at, but I like him better as a running back. I mean, the dude's still 25 years old. Like, he's been good his entire career. Yeah, I don't know. He's definitely not someone I'd run away from. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the whole contract issue maybe plays into it a little bit, but I see that.
Yeah, I feel like we got scared off of him last season because of the contract and the Hall of Fame game and stuff like that, where it's kind of like, apparently the Raiders hate him and like he sucks, and it's like, well, I guess it like the narrative kind of works both ways, where it's like, he's still on the team and they don't like him, so they're just going to use him a bunch to run him into the ground. But they wouldn't have done that if they didn't think he was good. And I don't think he's ever been anything but good. So
I think it was legitimate, like, for everyone to be a little concerned because
I agree.
He's been good, but he's never been amazing like he was last year. And they drafted a 4th round running back. They brought in a pass catching running back. New coaching staff, so you always got to be a little wary of those situations, right? So
yeah, I mean, he's always been kind of like a high-end number 2 guy kind of thing, which is where I think like he should get drafted, and that's probably where he did get drafted even here. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Oh, I guess where I'm saying like he should have been drafted was 10, so maybe I'm a little high on him.
Yeah. Any others here, Dad, that you want to touch on in round 4? I mean, Drake London going 409.
Yeah, that's Drake London. I don't know. Just we know the Atlanta offense is a running offense, so but somebody's got to catch the ball, so I don't know. I guess that's probably kind of appropriate. I look at them in the same round as guys like Devontae Smith and Cooper Kupp and T. Higgins and Metcalf and London kind of seems to be Drake London seems to be the odd guy out. If you ask me, maybe one more round. I doubt if he'll last that long, but.
Yeah. He was after all those guys, though, too. So you didn't have much of a choice. It's not like you could have had them or London. But, yeah, I agree. He's the odd man out in terms of receivers in this round. I mean, so we saw the 101 from last year, Breece Hall, go in the 2nd round, and the 102, mostly consensus 102 from last year, go in the 4th round. So...
to put you back on the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at ages for receivers and running backs, and you can still get some top 10. So since 2012, I think it is, either 12 or 13, there's been the top 10 finishes for receivers. There's only been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 have come age 30 or older. They played the majority of the season being age 30 or older. So that's 10 out of 100 top 10 finishes in the last 10 years. So it's going to be tough for a guy like I look at like Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, I think is right there. Maybe he's 29. So yeah, something to think about there. But you should, there's still top 20. You add another 11 guys, so only 20. It's a little alarming to hear like only 10% basically of the top 20 finishers in the last 10 years are age 30 or older at receivers at the receiving position.
Yeah. But it's kind of like our buddy Will told us about Derrick Henry in general, about like, well, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Devontae Adams, or, like we've only seen like a real season and a half of like Cooper Kupp like really tearing it up the way he has been.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more alarm there, but I mean, the dude's like, he's like, if they're targeting him, like he's catching it, it seems like. So, I mean, I'd bet money on it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he showed no signs of slowing down last year.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't he like wide receiver 1 still?
I think Jefferson was, but he had 1,500 yards and like.
No, sorry. I was going to say, wasn't he wide receiver 1 still like per game once he got hurt?
Are you talking about Devontae Adams?
Or sorry, before he got hurt, Kupp.
Oh, Kupp. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he was.
So, I mean, he was doing it, and then he got hurt, and it wasn't even season-ending necessarily either. I remember them kind of talking about that, but the Rams season was over around that time that he was going to be healthy, so it's kind of like, why waste him, So, I think he's still going to be the man. I think he's going to be a good guy to target and redraft even at the end of the first round if he falls.
Yeah, they kind of have one last hurrah, that Rams, Stafford, Kupp, McVay, one last hurrah. So, and I think him and Adams and Tyreek Hill. I know Tyreek Hill's like 28 or 9. These guys can still put up top 10 seasons. They can be the exceptions. So round 5 went Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Deebo Samuel, Quinton Johnston at the 504. That's our second rookie receiver taken. Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Pittman, Lance, Henry, and then Jamison Williams at the 512. Dad, what's your favorite pick in round 5? Not your own pick. You have a favorite pick here? Good.
I think either Chubb or Debo would. I think I would really like at this point. So I don't know. Trey Lance. We don't know his status, but yeah, I'll just say the way I'm looking at it now, either Chubb or Debo would be. I was targeting Debo, but he was taken a couple rounds ahead. So
yeah. Can you, Brian? Can you justify Quinton Johnston over Christian Watson or Michael Pittman?
No. I mean, yeah, even Javonte Williams with his 6-game suspension, like I think those guys are kind of all in that same sort of category, I guess. Like I wouldn't have taken Johnston before some of those guys. But I think it's kind of like pick your poison, I guess, like we've kind of said before. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would have went for any one of those guys necessarily. I would have went for Pollard in front of all of them.
Yeah, Pollard. Again, you know, we don't know how much longer with Pollard. Kind of like, unfortunately, he's. We don't know how much longer he's gonna be on the Cowboys. I guess.
Yeah, assuming 1 year. I guess like I'm thinking more. I'm kind of like dialed in on like, all right, like I'm going for like win now kind of a thing, and that's kind of why I picked Chubb where I did. I feel like him and Pollard are kind of in like similar situations, but we've seen more from Chubb. But I think the ceiling's higher for Pollard, honestly. But I think the safer pick was Chubb. Like I think it's not outside of the realm of possibility that Chubb or Pollard is the higher scorer, like between the two of them this year. But I think Chubb's the safer option.
Yeah. What about DeAndre Swift, dad, going 508? Before Derrick Henry, we still have Damian Pierce on the board, Mixon, J.K. Dobbins. Do you agree with DeAndre Swift 508?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, let me look at the other running backs.
So yeah, Henry, Damian Pierce, Mixon, J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, it's kind of right on the cusp of where he probably should go. You know, I know everybody's expecting big fantasy out of DeAndre Swift, and now he's going into his 4th year, so we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, he did go to a good spot for it.
Yeah, Philadelphia will use him, right? And they got Rashad Penny and
Kenneth Gainwell. Okay, anything else we want to say? I mean, Trey Lance or Javonte Williams is an interesting one. I feel like he was probably going round 2 or 3. He was probably like a top 5-ish running back last year.
Yeah, he had a terrible knee injury, so I'm not sure that's really appropriate where he would go.
Yeah, I mean, for in Dynasty though, like
I definitely don't understand Daniel Jones going after Trey Lance. So,
yeah.
Well, it's the computer, I guess. So
yeah, I guess I should have maybe factored that in a little bit more, which is actually kind of we should put it out there. If you guys want to draft with us next time to make this a little bit more human, I guess, and not just based off the numbers, then like and subscribe and send Mike an email or however that works.
Comment, whatever. Yeah, we would have to plan it and post it, schedule it, the day before, and
yeah,
people know. But yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, I agree. I guess the assumption is like Trey Lance is going to go somewhere, right? Like, I don't know about that though. Debo's fallen off for sure. I'm just looking at guys who've fallen off. Like Debo's fallen for sure. Swift, I think even Michael Pittman's fallen.
Swift fell
a
lot.
Yeah, deservedly so.
I think Devontae Smith has risen for sure. I'm just kind of looking through it too. Surprised. Josh Jacobs obviously like kind of. I don't know where he was going last year. Maybe not too far from this.
Probably not. He's probably like risen a little bit, or
I'd assume he rose at least a round, but maybe not much more than that though. Henry fell. I feel like Pittman's kind of in purgatory.
I'm still going. I'm taking this pick, assuming he's just going to be on the Bengals. Team 11 still doesn't realize we're playing super flex.
Yeah, we need people to draft with us, please.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm surprised it got this thin.
What's that?
It just feels like it got pretty thin pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, real quick.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, Daniel Jones 608. I love that. Like, just so people don't think I hate Daniel Jones. Like, I think that's great value for him there.
Yeah.
Especially
you
like
say-
Kenny Pickett over him. What's up?
Sorry, did you say that you would have taken him before Trey Lance or no?
No, I wouldn't have.
Okay. Just for
I
the
mean,
upside.
Yeah, I mean, I would have if Trey Lance was my QB3. Then I can make that argument. But as my QB2, I would take Daniel Jones.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were saying the opposite. I got you. Yeah.
Like taking a chance on Lance, like turning into something what he was expected to.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
that team number 10, the computer could have taken Daniel Jones and then got Lance on the swing back and at the price of George Pickens, which I think is a bet I would have taken.
Yeah. All right, so round 6, our last one of this video went to Joe Mixon at the 6'1", Damian Pierce, 6'2", George Pickens, George Kittle, Dalvin Cook, Kenny Pickett, the 606, Zay Flowers, Daniel Jones finally goes at the 608, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk, and Treylon Burks. Dad, what do you think about this round? Does it feel like the pool of players is kind of thinned?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just look at picks 3 and 4. You have an established veteran, Chris Godwin, right next to a rookie who hasn't done nothing.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely would have taken Godwin over Addison or Flowers.
yeah, I'd take Kirk over Addison. One of those two guys is gonna end up doing well. Addison is in a good spot, because of the Minnesota offense and everything else. So,
But if you look at how, like, if you did build your team like Team 4 and Addison was your wide receiver 5, I think you can easily make that argument to take him over Godwin or Kirk, going for that potential, saying I'm not going to have to rely on him this year. If I don't need to, I'm going for the potential of what he is. Godwin, it's like, yeah.
Look what you did. Look at that team. I mean, we know, that Quentin Johnson the round before, then Jordan Addison. Are you going to do that? Are you really going to do that in real life? Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
But ignoring that, let's just say Quentin Johnson was Christian Watson or Deebo Samuel. Like, do you think it makes it a little more acceptable to take Addison over Godwin, knowing that he's your wide receiver 5? Not.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I wasn't looking at that. That is a pretty deep team wide receiver wise. So
yeah. I mean that's. I feel like you're almost locked in for starting 2 of those guys as your flexes. I guess we'll have to see how the team actually builds out. But yeah, I definitely think that's kind of like a computer thing and not quite I mean, I don't know. A lot of people do draft the way the computers are drafting, though. Everyone's had that league where people auto draft and everything, or people just pick right down the list and kind of don't really have like favoritism towards another player or not. And that can work out.
I guess I'm just we have like these thoughts in our head, I guess, of like, oh, Godwin. And then you kind of like, you look at his stats and you're like, okay, like he's had one really, really good year. And that was in 2019. So we're talking 4 seasons out now, right? He's had the last 2 years have been high volume where Tom Brady has set records throwing the ball. And he's put up 1,100 yards and 1,000 yards, mostly because you're falling into 100 catches because Brady's throwing it 600 times, right? So now you're in the situation of like, okay, you're 27 years old. You have Baker Mayfield on your team, like as your starting quarterback now. Like, I mean, I can see being a little sour on Godwin and just being like, you know what, I'm going to go with Addison because, like, it's not like Godwin's put up these crazy numbers, like 1,500 yards or something ever. Like he hasn't. Yeah. So
again, I have to kind of like go back to like the pace sort of thing. Like we've seen it from him. Like we know targets are earned, right? Like we're kind of going off of that assumption. And even in 2020, like he only played 12 games. He still got his 840 yards on 65 catches. So, put the little star there. And I mean, I guess he hasn't even played.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
season.
can we stat out 17 games if he's never played 17 games in the last 4 years? Like,
well, yeah, that's kind of what I was just gonna say. Is like, yeah, he actually hasn't played a full season since 2018. But I mean, if you're gonna ding him for like being injury prone or whatever in the 6th round, then it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I guess you can kind of like drill back down into a lot of guys, and I think he's good as your wide receiver 2. Like, I mean, and if he's your wide receiver 3, then I think you're happy. We're talking about him being the number 5 on this team. Like, so I think that's great.
The number 3 on team 3.
Yeah,
yeah.
4 took him.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about like team 4.
I don't think you're winning if Godwin's your wide receiver 2. I honestly don't. Like, and just that's basing off of we're Baker Mayfield now. Like, we're not Tom Brady throwing 600 times. Tom Brady throwing 600 times, you put up, what was he last year? Was he a top 24 receiver? I imagine he was in PPR, but in half PPR, I'm going to just check. Like, they're not going to throw it that as much as they did. Like, half PPR, it looks like he was maybe in the top 20. Like I don't think you're winning with him as your wide receiver 2.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's your wide receiver 2 and you're getting him in the 6th round, then that means you have, like 5 other or 4 other positional picks in front of that,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we were all surprised when we actually like kind of look back at like his stats from last year and like, shit, he still had 100 catches. Like, I don't think anyone really thought that because the dude was playing hurt most of the year. It seemed like anyway. So,
but that makes me sour on him a little bit more going back and seeing that. Like, honestly, it does. Like, I don't see him. I think his best season was 2019, and I don't think he gets close to that. Like, I think
last year, part of the problem was only 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's never been a big touchdown guy. I know he's had 7, 9, which is good. But it's not like he's like like a Mike Evans or double-digit touchdown guy. I understand. Like, I'm just saying, like, I can make the case for Addison over Godwin at this point, in my opinion, but it could be wrong.
I don't know. I feel like he's been the wide receiver, a wide receiver 2 solidly every year, basically, besides his rookie year. There is that 2020 one there thrown in, but that was only out of 12 games, and we saw him be the number 2 overall receiver with Jameis. So I think he's right where he should be, and I'd take him over unproven rookies, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know if 2018 if that puts him at wide receiver 2, but as a wide receiver 2. But other picks, any other picks in this round, Dad, that you hate? Kenny Pickett at the 606 or?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a reach. So, yeah, he has to have before I'm considering him at this spot, I guess he's got to kind of have a prove it year.
Yeah,
especially,
sure.
Yeah, it's just, I don't see it. It's not, I'm trying to internally process it, and I'm like, nah. I know he's starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he started to play well at the end of the season, but it's just we'll see. They say everybody's biggest jump is between year 1 and year 2, so
I think he played pretty shitty at the end of the last season is what I'm seeing.
Well, he won some games.
Yeah, he was winning games. Steelers will be loyal to him as well. They'll roll with him for a bit. I'm going out there. I would take Will Levis over Kenny Pickett.
That's really far out there.
Put my neck out there, but I would. I don't know. I just don't. see it with Kenny Pickett, unfortunately. But I've been wrong, of course. Brian, any other picks here you want to mention before we kind of wrap it up?
I think Pickens got taken too early.
Yeah,
Also, George Pickens and Damian Pierce. Actually, you know what? Most of this round I don't really like. I'd have to go back and actually like see like who I would have taken. I'm sure some of these guys belong here, but kind of like what you were alluding to, Mike. You were like, I feel like it really thinned out. It's kind of like, yeah, it certainly did. Like,
I mean, Terry McLaurin. Like, why is Pickens going over McLaurin? You know, like,
yeah, or I mean, honestly,
that's a guy I wouldn't take Addison or Flowers over McLaurin. I don't think. Like, I'd happily take McLaurin. I mean, even like Marquise Brown, DJ Moore, we'll see. Like, I don't know. It is interesting. Damian Pierce, I've bumped up a little bit because the Texans didn't take anyone. So it seems like they're going to be rolling with him. I mean, I know Devin Singletary's there, but I imagine they're going to run the ball a lot. They got a head coach from San Francisco. So I'm fine with Pierce there, but I don't know if there's any other running backs not taken you guys want to mention. Ooh, Miles Sanders. I just saw him on the list. I like Miles Sanders a lot.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that he's still there, but
I
think there's still definitely some diamonds in the rough here.
Dobbins. I think Dobbins. Look, he had 1,100. No, that's not right. I'm speaking out of turn. Once he did play, he had an okay year, and we'll just see.
Yeah, he finished strong last year. His last four.
Baltimore's running offense, you know, and
maybe
is right. You're right. New offensive coordinator.
But
I'm fine with Dobbins here too. At this point.
Yeah, I mean they didn't add anybody behind them either, you know. So
yeah,
we'll see if we get that run game reestablished or not.
But yeah. Overall, I mean, starts to your guys' teams: Mahomes, Bryce Young, Kelsey, Stevenson, Chubb, Burks. I like it. I think you're pretty strong there. We'll see about your receivers, but I think there's still some guys there. Dad, Hurts, Eckler, Hill, Tyreek Hill, Mark Andrews, Judy, Daniel Jones. Yeah, I like that. And then Deshaun Watson, AR-15, Najee, Devontae, Jamison Williams, and Mixon. I'm a little nervous about my receivers, I'll be honest. Any comments on you guys' teams or our
No,
team?
I was just kind of like looking at them. Sorry, I was looking at yours. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with mine. Just continuing the Dak thread. I really hope that he dropped to me at 212 because I would have taken him there over Bryce Young.
What's your I'm going to hear your predictions for Dak. What are they? What do you think? QB what? Or you can give me stats. You can tell me
QB
later.
16.
I'm gonna say he'll throw for 4,200, 30 touchdowns, and he'll run for 250 yards.
At 4,200?
Yeah.
Or 4,500? 42? Okay, fair enough. So what's that?
42.
QB.
We're just trying to keep it within the realm of possibility, I guess.
So that's probably like average wise. That's probably what, like QB 11 or something like that.
Yeah, probably not too far off. Maybe he'll sneak a touchdown in or two because he doesn't trust Tony Pollard.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna finish up there. Thanks for listening to us ramble about Dak and Daniel Jones and Chris Godwin. As always, like the video, subscribe, and again, we are 169 subscribers, so it'd be nice to get to 200. I don't know, let's say by middle of June. We'll set that goal. June 15th, we want 200 subscribers. Help us, please. But we'll be back Probably doing at least 3 more, maybe 4 more rounds. Probably 4 more rounds. We'll finish off to 10 in the Dynasty startup. But we will catch you guys later. Dad, Brian, any last words before I end it?
No.
Go Chris Godwin.
Go Chris Godwin. Go Chargers.
Jack's a scrub.